What is going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here for another live review of Monday Night Raw from Monday night's episode, the February 6th, 2023 edition that took place at the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. We're going to go back, of course, and talk about everything that happened on this show. Set up some pretty good stuff for Chamber. Chamber's looking like a pretty strong card. As far as this episode of Raw goes, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I mean, I thought it was good. A lot of people thought it was great. I have some little nitpicks to pick about it. Nothing major. That's one of my cats who's right next to me right now. I might have to open the door to let her out in a second. I have some little nitpicks though about this episode. That is nothing major, but just some little just me being a little bit picky about a few things, which again may not be that big of a deal. I just have to address okay, this is good, but one of those things. So a good episode of Raw. I feel like though I'm not praising as much as some other people praise it though. But let's roll in and let's talk about it. We open up the show with Edge and Beth Phoenix coming out. And I believe on the way in, Edge tapped Beth Phoenix's ass, and I'm just like, okay, are they, doing anything later on tonight? But, Anyways, so they come out. Edge plays a video recap about, and tells us how it's good to be back, and he's the king of comebacks. And it's getting silly that they're here for one reason, which is the Judgment Day, which is his fault, and the idea of the Judgment Day was to elevate talent he felt deserved it. And quite frankly, he thought it worked. All of Judgment Day are in a better place than they were a year ago. He puts over Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley before saying, okay, damning Dawn with being faint praise. Tells him how they waged war back and forth leading up to Extreme Rules. And he knew Finn Balor didn't have what it took to make him quit. But then they brought Beth into it, and he's the kind of man that is not used to feeling helpless. He gives Judgment Day a golf clap basically like a clap that nobody cares or whatnot, and says he's a vindictive, cruel bastard who will sink to any level to get his pound of flesh. And this leads to Beth Phoenix stepping in, who challenges Rhea Ripley as she's getting ready to finish what she's saying though, out come the Judgment Day. And apparently also Judgment Day has the E between the G and the M removed now, by the way. I forgot to mention that recently. But they come out and Finn Balor talks about how it might be time for Edge to retire. Dom says they better run before he does to them what he did to his dad at Rumble. Damian Priest agrees and promises the next beatdown will make Extreme Rules look like child's play. And then Priest stumbles over his words. Basically, he was hyping up that he was having a qualifying match in a few minutes against Angelo Dawkins for the Elimination Chamber. Well, he stumbled over his words and accidentally said Money in the Bank. And of course, he did, he recovered, we knew he botched, but he kind of, kept the flow going where it's he covered up for the botch. I think he recovered, fine, but tough stumble there. Anyways. He claims he's going to win the U.S. title again, as he is a former U.S. champion. And of course, Dom wishes that Mummy was here to see what they're going to do, but she's busy traveling the world to promote WrestleMania. Edge, though, then just, rats them all out, saying how Damian Priest didn't want a leader, which is why he turned on him in the first place, but he's been following Finn Balor around like a lapdog. He called Finn Balor a dollar store Jamiroquai. And the problem is they drop each other faster than ex-con Dom dropped his drawers in the clinic, which is fitting given how many times he's tried to screw his dad over. Beth mentions how Rhea's not here because she speared her soul out of her body last week. But she didn't come here to talk. She came here to beat Rhea Ripley's ass. And then she pitches the idea for a match with Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley at Elimination Chamber. Then Finn asks Dom if he thinks Rhea's in, and he does, and he accepts the challenge. That is, if they make it to Elimination Chamber. But then a brawl breaks out. Street Profits come out to make the save because Angelo Dawkins is getting ready to take on Damian Priest. And then Beth Phoenix hits Dom with the glam slam. So, my nitpick on this here, okay, fine. I mean, again, it's obvious that the whole goal for Edge is to end the Judgment Day, which, quite frankly, it's working on some levels. Like, okay, it's made Rhea Ripley a badass. Dominic Mysterio, yes, although in-ring wise, he's degressed a little, his character work, though, has been outstanding. I would say, in the long run, keep Dom and Rhea together. Finn and Damian, have they really gained much from this? I mean, Finn a little bit, yes. Damian, I don't know. So, the fact that it's pretty predictable what's going to happen is going to be meh. And also, my other things too is, if the whole idea is to do Edge, because if they end this at Chamber with this tag match with Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, why are we doing, what's the point of what's Edge going to do at WrestleMania? That's what I'm wondering. What is Edge going to do at WrestleMania? Because I'm still thinking, based off the rumors, this could be Edge's last WrestleMania. Because I think he talked about last year, when they come back to Toronto, which I think is later this summer, that's when he thinks he's going to, I heard rumors he may retire. So, if we're going to do this match, okay, again, if we were going to do this tag match, I would rather it be Edge and Beth versus Dom and Rhea. If we're going to do Edge and Beth versus Finn and Rhea, first off, you can't pin Rhea Ripley, especially if she's going to be going into a women's title match against Charlotte. But two, if we do Edge versus Finn, at WrestleMania, what's the point of them facing off in the tag match now? They're setting up a pretty stacked card for Chamber, which is going to be awesome. But again, my problem is, though, is some of these matches, okay, how are we going to get to Mania? It's like 2 years ago when they did Fastlane. There was a few matches where they did it at the pay-per-view, but it was more so kind of like, not really a match, more so like a segment setting up for Mania. I'd rather have them doing something different. So, I'm not quite sure where that's going to go, but, and again, how many pay-per-views have Judgment Day lost their match? Because, let me think here. Well, of course, post-Edge, they lost at SummerSlam. Did they have a match at Money in the Bank? I remember they lost at Clash of the Castle. Finn's I Quit match win was big. I think Finn lost also at Survivor Series. I think AJ won that, I can't remember. So, that's my only thing, though, is Judgment Day, yes, have had their dominating moments, but they've gotten their ass kicked a lot. And again, seeing Dom get hit with the glam slam felt like a freaking comedy act. So I don't know, yes, they're writing the story to make sense for Edge to eventually end, the monstrosity he started. But other than, again, Rhea Ripley and Dom, have Judgment Day really been that memorable? Again, it might be time after this feud ends to split them up. I'd still say keep Dom and Rhea together. But I'm not too sure about the rest of them once this feud ends. It might be best to have Priest and Balor go their separate ways. I mean, they've gained momentum, no doubt about it, but have they gained that much momentum? So, we then had Damian Priest versus Angelo Dawkins in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Not Money in the Bank like Priest botched, but again recovered. And it was a good match. I keep giving credit to Angelo Dawkins. He really, since SummerSlam, when they first teased the Street Profits possibly splitting, he has stepped it up. I do think he's improved a lot in the ring. Because before that, it was always Montez Ford is going to be the big single star. Angelo Dawkins may have a little more too once that comes. I still think the Street Profits should have another reign or two before they permanently split them up. But again, if you want to give them something else to do, start teasing them, getting some singles opportunities like we did here tonight with both Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Don't forget that. We'll get to him later. I'd say go for it. So, Damian Priest won. He will be in the chamber. I like the fresh names we have in this chamber match. And so far, before we get to the 5 we have at this point, were Austin Theory, Johnny Gargano, Seth Rollins. Hold on. Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest. Crap, I'm blanking now. Crap, who? I gotta pull this up here. I'm gonna remember once I see it. Who is, besides, of course, who won between Elias and Montez Ford? Who is the other person in the chamber? I can't remember now. Hold on here. Pull it up here. Scrolling down. Bronson Reed. That's who it is. Okay. Sorry about that. Very fresh names. So again, I am interested to see how this chamber match goes with the U.S. title. Glad they're kind of giving like a different... I mean, last time we did a mid-card title, I think it was 2015. And again, I did not watch that pay-per-view, but man, I heard that it was not that good. Especially when Mark Henry broke up a pinfall because his pod got broken open. He was kind of like left not knowing what to do. But Damian Priest qualifies here. Good match again. Credit to Angelo Dawkins though for his victory. We then have first we had footage of Austin Theory arriving at the arena today with some fancy looking black car. We also have a segment where Adam Pearce is randomly welcoming Maxine Dupree and the Maximum Male Models to Raw. I guess they're randomly on Raw now. Why? I don't know. I think last they had some segment where they tried to recruit Otis, but they're over on Raw. Were they doing anything on SmackDown? I don't care. So Maximum Male Models of Marseille and Mansois are now on Raw. You care? I don't. When all of a sudden, Chelsea Green rolls up asking to speak to the manager, being a typical Karen that she is. She complains that the chocolate she got today was Belgian and not Swiss. Furthermore, she's not in the Elimination Chamber match despite being able to beat most of the women in it. Of course, I'm thinking, Chelsea, you got eliminated in 5 seconds at the Rumble. And of course, she basically was just like, that doesn't matter. She wants a match tonight or she'll cost him his job. We had, of course, a recap of what happened with the Bloodline, and of course, advised now we'll get more on SmackDown. Dexter Lumis wrestled Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin lost with a side effect. I thought that was kind of weak of a finisher there. But Dexter Lumis beat him, and later on in the night, JBL basically told Corbin, you can't shine a turd, we're done. So, yeah, we're done with Baron Corbin and JBL. It wasn't doing much at all. I do like, though, that we've seen a couple things where Triple H has started. He's tried, but then when it didn't work, he's pulled the plug. Kind of like whenever Tony Khan was starting up that Nightmare Collective a couple years ago with AEW, and that didn't work. He pulled the plug on that fast. So we pulled the plug on that. Maybe they're teasing. I'd say at this point, go back to bum-ass Corbin. Bum-ass Baron Corbin was the last time Baron Corbin really got over. And hey, here's the thing. If they want to do that, and this is crazy to say, basically it's probably going to lead to Baron Corbin. If they would do bum-ass Corbin, they would probably want to build it to Baron Corbin being a babyface. So they can do that and have Corbin like slowly grow his hair back maybe and be like a babyface lone wolf. Well, except here's the thing, because I watched a few of his pay-per-view matches in NXT when I went back to watch all the NXT pay-per-views. Well, before TakeOver 36, of course, so I haven't watched a single TakeOver since 36. But when Baron Corbin was a babyface, and when he made his entrance, of course, as a heel, he was like all gloaty and, you know, doing all that jazz. Wait, hold on here. All gloaty at first and whatnot. But whenever he's a babyface, and he came out and he would look up at that one part where he wore his arms up in his NXT thing, he looked like a sad puppy dog. So don't make him sad puppy dog Baron Corbin. Make him the lone wolf again. Maybe, just maybe, he can get something going. Because again, as the lone wolf on the main roster on SmackDown, until he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase, I dug him. After that, it was just a slow tumble. But, yeah. So that happened there. Becky Lynch had an interview backstage talking about when her and Bayley first met, because they're set up for the steel cage match being the main event. For the first time, they met 10 years ago, and Bayley seemed sweet and kind, and she wanted to be great. And she did that by high-fiving and hugging and attaching herself to any meal ticket she could. Becky wanted to be great too, and she went after it by smashing faces and kicking down doors. And Bayley didn't like that. She separated her shoulder and brought her family into it. And she's going to teach her that was a bad idea tonight inside a steel cage. And she's got one hand left to play. And tonight might be the night. So she's got another hand to play. My question is, what is that? Well, we found out later on that night, but we'll have to wait. Then we have Brock Lesnar. Okay. One of my favorite segments of the night, not my number one favorite, but one of my favorite, was Brock Lesnar. Now, again, keep in mind, I keep thinking this. What makes Brock Lesnar so cool with this as a babyface is that he gets microphone time. Before he was a heel and Heyman was speaking for him, like, you know, don't get me wrong, it was legendary. But obviously, of course, as well, you know, Brock Lesnar just wasn't as strong on the microphone. When he did have the microphone, it felt special. But of course, now he's speaking more. It's like, I just enjoy it. Again, that's why, again, I can forgive the times where I hated Brock. I'm entertained by Brock. But Cowboy Brock, with a feather in his cap, comes out. And he comes out and he says, "You guys catch the Rumble? I thought it sucked. Or at least I had a sucky experience." He got thrown over the top by Bobby who? Bobby Lashley. And that finally struck a chord in him. And he just couldn't get Lashley out of his head. He couldn't get out of his head while hunting, or ice fishing, or while eating a big old steak for dinner. My favorite part, though, was when he mentioned that when he got in bed with his wife, which, of course, those of you who don't know, Brock Lesnar's married to Sable. Back in the early 2000s, was like a hot blonde making out with Vince McMahon. One of the many hot blondes that Vince McMahon made out with. But obviously, Sable was indeed one of the hottest. I'm not going to lie. And there's like a long pause. He's like, wait, do I really want to go this far? Was it immediately that basically what I got from it was Brock thought about what to say for a second. And it's like, would you want to say immediately, you get in bed with Sable, you immediately think of Bobby Lashley. I'm sorry, Bobby who? Bobby Lashley. He pauses, he goes, 5 hours later, so it's like, okay, you cover your butt, because I'm sure your wife would be like, why are you immediately, Sable, come on, with how good looking I am, you immediately, Bobby Lashley overrides all that? 5 hours later, man, he was probably, digested in his system. He's still thinking of Bobby Lashley. But nothing can get Lashley out of his head. All week long, he's thought long and hard about what to do with Bobby who? Bobby Lashley. And he came up with a violent resolution. In his $5 denim jacket is a multi-million-dollar contract. And on this contract, it states they'll have a match at Elimination Chamber. Which I'm like, what? Chamber? Chamber? Also, the fact that, again, I love this, but also like, Bobby, you started going after, Brock, you started going after Bobby. Why did you, again, because when Brock returned, he immediately targeted Bobby Lashley. So I'm kind of like, okay, this is funny, entertaining, don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, Brock, you're kind of beating around the bush. Why are you targeting Bobby Lashley? Because again, Bobby Lashley has every reason to go after you because you're targeting him. So there's more to the story. And we're going to do the third match between them at Chamber? I mean, maybe, well, first, Bobby came out. He took a walk down memory lane and recounts their match history. Which, of course, I was about to say that maybe they're not counting last year's Rumble, but they are. He pinned Lashley last year at Rumble, and at Crown Jewel, Brock won, but Lashley left him unconscious. And then at Rumble was their third meeting in the Rumble where he eliminated Brock without any problem. So if memory serves, he thinks he gets to set the terms right here and not Brock. So Lashley takes the contract and says he's going to have his agent, manager, and lawyer look at this and he'll get back to him. Brock's like, I ain't waiting. He hits an F5 and leaves the contract on him. But of course the crowd starts chanting one more time and then Brock did it one more time. So again, funny with Brock, especially the jab about, getting in bed with his wife and he's got to think about it. It's like, wait a minute. Do I want to basically say, how hot my wife is not enough for me to not think about Bobby Lashley? So 5 hours later, when things are cooler, okay, it's okay to think about Bobby. Bobby who? Bobby Lashley. But, again, the thing is when's Brock going to address, first off, why he's targeting Bobby? Again, this is little nitpicks. It's nothing... It's not a major deal, but that doesn't quite make sense to me. Again, why is Brock been targeting Bobby? Especially if they're trying to make Bobby the heel in this. Again, I don't get why Bobby's the heel. Well, they're implying that Bobby's like the de facto heel in this. But it should be Brock, because Brock's targeting him. But then also, why are we wasting this? Why are we doing this blow-off match at Chamber? Because even so, what would we do at Chamber? End it in a draw or something to get to Mania? I feel like you gotta bridge the gap. I feel like you shouldn't do the match at Chamber. Save it to Mania with a stipulation. Because if not, then what's Brock? I mean, I know people are saying that Brock and Gunther, cool. I mean, I'm for that. But one, they should be doing Gunther and Sheamus. Although I've heard rumors of Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre in a triple threat, which I'm not going to say no to that. That's going to be pretty freaking dope. But how, after that, can we immediately set up for Brock and Gunther? And also, why would Brock go after a mid-card title if he would beat a main eventer like Bobby Lashley? Even so, Bobby Lashley, should be beating Brock Lesnar. So, I don't know what's going to happen at Chamber. I still think they should just hold off and do a match at Mania. But we'll see where it goes. We shall see. Backstage, we have Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis wishing Candice LeRae luck in her qualifying match for the Chamber. Of course, Dexter then draws a picture of with Nikki Cross in the background. Candice is confused, and then Nikki's actually in the background, and she's been stalking Candice for a while, and she runs off. Okay. Then we have the Fatal 4-Way match, which is Candice LeRae, Mia Yim, Carmella. Again, this is her first match back in like 7 months. Glad to see she's back, especially after the stuff with her miscarriages and whatnot she dealt with. Anyways, sorry, I had to check something here. But glad she's back. The match was solid. I think the person who definitely got over the most this match was Piper Niven, but of course they're trying to keep her as a heel. I'm not sure if that's going to keep working, because again, the whole idea, I think, again, the reason why they only turned Piper Niven heel last year was, no wait, was that 2 years? 2 years ago, sorry. 2 years ago they turned Piper Niven heel, was because they're trying to make her the new Nia Jax, since Nia Jax got released. And thank God, as of now, that wasteful Rumble appearance by her has been a one-off. For now. Because I'm hearing she does have something booked in March, so we're not going to be seeing Nia Jax anytime soon. But yeah, Piper Niven's got to turn face. She's got to turn face. She's naturally over. But it was still solid. Carmella surprisingly won with a folding press. Okay? At least they didn't put that stupid mask on her, but it feels like they're trying to make her a heel version of, like, a combination of what she was before she went on her hiatus and her Princess of Staten Island. I think they're trying to make her like a heel Princess of Staten Island who's in NXT. We'll see how that goes. But she wins. I don't think it matters much, though, because I don't see her winning the Chamber. But we'll see. We have, then afterwards, backstage, we have a confrontation with Piper Niven and Candice LeRae, but then Mia makes the save, and Piper tells them if either of them get between her and the Raw Women's title again, she won't be so forgiving. We'll see where that leads. We have the Alpha Academy taking on the Hurt Business. Good match. And, of course, surprisingly, they had the Hurt Business win. Where Cedric and Shelton with a lumbar check. Cool. I mean, they're showing all these backstage things where, like, you know, people are talking, but in the background you see MVP talking with Shelton and Cedric. They're teasing it. I still think, though, they need to be reunited as baby faces. They have to be reunited as baby faces, as I keep saying. Then we have a recap of Rick Boogs making his return last week. Miz is being interviewed. He complains that basically wasn't prepared for Rick Boogs, and Rick Boogs basically says, "Now, how about we have a rematch next week?" We have a rematch next week, I believe it is, between Rick Boogs and Miz. Chelsea Green then appears again and complains, "You better make sure you have an opponent because I'm going to the ring now." So she went to the ring, and her opponent was probably the favorite to win the women's chamber match, Asuka. It was weird, though. They just randomly had the rest of the members of the chamber match just appear, and basically they put Chelsea Green in her place. And she got squashed most of it. I mean, she got a little bit of offense in on Asuka, but she got squashed. Chelsea Green, again, is just going to be more of a character gimmick. I mean, at some point, she'll probably win a title. But again, her in-ring ability is not going to be what's going to make her be a star. It's her character work that's probably good. That's probably going to lead there. She's like the female Miz, female MJF, if you want to put it that way. Like, again, known for the microphone work, not as much for the in-ring work. So, Asuka won by submission, which I don't know what I think it's called the Ode to Jim breaks or something. It's similar to the Rings of Saturn. Afterwards, though, Bianca Belair came out and basically wished everyone in the chamber match good luck. Because she knows what it's like to, go through the chamber to get to Mania and, of course, win the title. So, good luck. And then we got my favorite part of this show, which I'm sure was everybody's favorite part of the show. We have Cody Rhodes come out. And, of course, he was a little bit hoarse. Not sure why. And, of course, he starts off again with, "So, what do you want to talk about?" He mentions last week he used his time to talk about his current WrestleMania opponent, the best in the world, Roman Reigns. And of course, we all know that the big thing going around these days, again, is the fact that the fans are wanting Sami Zayn to be the one to dethrone Roman. And Sami Zayn to be the top face. Now, of course, how is Cody Rhodes going to handle that? Since he's kind of like stuck in the middle, where he has the right reasons to have this moment. He has the right story for him to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. Thankfully, when the Sami chance happened, he did not ignore it. He acknowledged Sami Zayn. Cody says the crowd reads his mind. He wants to talk about the guy with all the momentum walking into his hometown at Chamber, Sami Zayn. It looks more like he'll be challenging Sami for the title. And with all respect for a friend, he wishes Sami luck and that the best man may win. Putting him over, not going all overboard with it, just simple, okay? He's fighting. I think he endorsed the fact he believes Sami has a chance to win. Again, not making that match at Chamber very, very predictable. So Cody did the right thing there to protect himself. That still gives Cody good babyface momentum. He is open to the idea that he may be wrestling Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. Or he could be simply wrestling Roman. But then we have Paul Heyman come out. And this is where it gets really good. He does his usual intro. And he also mentions how the only thing as big as the week leading up to a major event is the week coming out of it. He and the Tribal Chief have had their hands full this week. Some things have slipped through the cracks. Like congratulating Cody Rhodes on winning the Royal Rumble. Gets in the ring. Him and Cody shake hands. And Cody starts telling something again that I'm guessing is true, but didn't know this. But Cody says how his father and brother had nicknames for Paul. But if he'll indulge, he'll call him Mr. Heyman because he has an unparalleled respect for Paul and he thinks he knows why. But if not, we're going to pull the curtain back and tell a story. In 2000, the Till and the Rhodes family had dried up. Hard Times was more than just a promo. Simply, the family went broke, with only $100 left in the checking account. And his father doing local car commercials just to keep the car. But then Paul Heyman gave him a ring. And he said ECW's in town, and Steve Corino was going to talk trash, and if Dusty wants to appear just on camera, he'd pay him very well. And then Heyman started getting emotional. So I wonder again if this all here was real. As, of course, Heyman got emotional. Cody started getting emotional. Cody then mentions that he kept his word. In addition to the money they sorely needed, ECW gave his dad his confidence back. And Cody can never repay Paul Heyman for that. Just mentioning how much respect he has for him. So again, this is a typical, I respect this and that, but putting a lot of realism to this. Again, making it feel real and feeling it from the heart, you'll love to hear from it. He thanks Paul and acknowledges that before he was here, he was causing trouble somewhere else. I don't know if he's referring to AEW, what he was saying there, but he said, from one disruptor to another, Heyman showed him the way, and he thanks him again. And Heyman says he caught him off guard. He came here to schmooze a little business, and Cody got him personally. Heyman wants to go all the way too. Says this isn't about him, and with all due respect and love, it's not about Dusty either. This is about everything that Cody has fought for from the bottom all the way up. So again, going back that Paul was there from the beginning, And it's a blessing for him at this moment to see where Cody is now. I'm sure real life, off kayfabe, that is definitely true, especially from the story that Cody's saying. All the way up the door, out the door, and back in, winning the Rumble and getting ready to main event WrestleMania. But winning at Mania is a whole different story. Whether it's a dream come true or the nightmare of just this close. Because he's not just winning WrestleMania. He's trying to take away from the greatest box office attraction of all time, Roman Reigns. He tells Cody he can't know how he'll react to the spotlight because no one ever prepared him for it. He mentions right down the road in Orlando is the Performance Center, where his father, Dusty Rhodes, trained and prepped the biggest stars of this generation. Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Kevin Owens, and the WWE undisputed Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief himself, Roman Reigns. He prepped all of them. But who didn't he prep? His own son, Cody Rhodes. And that's starting to, put a little bit of a dagger into the moment here. It's like, I respect you, but it's just Paul trying to get into the head and try to knock off Cody's confidence, thinking he can't get it done at Mania. So Paul's kind of like putting Sami Zayn in the rearview mirror here and thinking towards WrestleMania. But again, he's got to remember, Sami Zayn also has had some hot momentum right now too. But he mentions how maybe his father wanted Cody to step out from his shadow. He didn't want him to go through life as Dusty's son, but as Cody, the man who stopped the Tribal Chief at WrestleMania. Paul, though, can't convey in words how much he loved Dusty, and he can tell him straight to his face how much his father loved him. But then he says, I'll tell you this. The last conversation he had with Dusty, he told him that Cody was his favorite son, but Roman Reigns was the son Dusty ever wanted. And I'm like, ouch! Like, okay, like the emotion in this segment, from like the realism to the respect, like this is like a simple, like, I respect all this is done, and you got the history to back it up. Like, yes, okay, I'm sick of that build because we've had that how many times, but this was done well. First off, again, Cody Rhodes protected himself and acknowledged, the elephant in the room, Sami Zayn. Then Paul Heyman comes out, gets like a heart, wrenching moment there with, some realism at how Paul Heyman saved the Rhodes family's life just to, like, somewhat stomp on Cody a little bit. Like, he just stomped him on the toe with, the whole thing about how Dusty Rhodes trained everyone but his own son. But then sheds the light and saying maybe Dusty wanted Cody to be his own entity and not what Dusty saw for him. But then going even farther and just putting the nail in the coffin saying, you may have been your favorite son, but Roman's the son that Dusty wished he ever had. And that's where Cody snapped. He advanced on Paul and gets in his face, and Heyman's like begging him off, saying he's just a messenger. I'm just a messenger, not an advocate, messenger. But Cody grabs his hand and pulls him close. And he says, I'm just trying to win a championship. But everyone wants to make it personal. And Mr. Heyman, that's exactly what you just did. You're not going to pay for it, though. Roman will pay for it at WrestleMania when he takes those titles personally. So that got me more interested. I mean, yes, again, Cody Rhodes, again, did everything right in the segment. From the emotion to endorsing Sami Zayn, acknowledging he is preparing. And he has the faith in Sami Zayn. Again, giving us that hope. That, again, making that match not so predictable at Chamber. Because that match with Roman and Sami, oh gosh, I'm very pumped for that. But Cody Rhodes also set his table so great in this segment. So great. And again, this whole idea of like, you know, a great way to tell a story of like, I respect this, but then the person he respects stomping on him. And then Cody's like, yo, I just want to win a title. That's all it's about. But you want to make it personal? We're going to make it personal, all right? Could there maybe be more to the story that Cody's going to shoot on Heyman in the upcoming weeks? We'll have to wait and see, but this was an awesome segment. Definitely my favorite segment of the night. Definitely an early like segment of the year contender for sure, but this was very well done. Then we had a match with Montez Ford and Elias for the last spot in the Chamber. I didn't really watch this match because I was washing dishes at the time, but so I can't really grade it, but Montez Ford won. Excited to see that. Like I said earlier, I don't think the Street Profits should completely split up yet. I would still like to see maybe another reign or two for the tag titles, as they should get like maybe multiple tag title reigns. But I also do like that they've been giving like each of them like their own like spotlight. Again, Angelo Dawkins has been improving a lot in the ring, and Montez Ford has always had the singles potential. I do think one day he's going to be an excellent main eventer as a single star. He's got it all. The personality, the in-ring ability. Again, I'll still say this. If they keep going the right direction with Ricochet, give me Ricochet versus Montez Ford. I've wanted to see that match since Ricochet was NXT North American Champion in NXT. Still get it, but he's going to be in the Chamber as a single star. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing how Montez does in that match. So he wins the match. Afterwards, Austin Theory was taunting Montez Ford until Seth Rollins appeared and takes out his legs from under and then hits the stomp. Okay. Then we have the main event, the steel cage match with Becky Lynch and Bayley. Io Sky was outside. Dakota Kai was outside also on crutches after Bayley attacked her last week. Match was good. There was a point in the match, though, when I think they were trying to do like a disarmer off the top of the cage, but it really wasn't working, so they pulled the plug on it. And I think somehow, hold on, one of my cats is moving around here. Hopefully Josie doesn't walk over and interfere. But anyways, hold on, Josie, almost done. But I guess somehow Dakota Kai got her one of her crutches into the ring for Bayley to use. There was an avalanche Bayley to belly, but she was using the crutch. I'm sorry, Io climbs the cage. Dakota though slid Bayley's crutch sound into the cage. Can't remember how it was, but then here is a big surprise out of the blue. And earlier tonight, Becky said she may have to play the cards for this final time. So I thought this would then be wrapping up the feud. I guess it's going to be continuing because all of a sudden, here comes Lita. Lita comes out and she plays Equalizer and takes out Io. Then she takes out Dakota with a twist of fate on Io. Well, she hits the twist of fate on Io, and then she stops Dakota from getting the door open. Well, the door did get open, and Bayley tried to walk out, but Lita slammed the door in her face. And then Becky was ready, countering the door slam with a manhandle slam. Becky wins the steel cage match, and then afterwards, Lita and Becky get in there and embrace. Which is how the show goes off the air. So, nice seeing Lita back. She's in great shape, excellent shape. Again, I loved her match with her and Becky last year. I think it was the only singles match live I've ever seen Lita have, because she wrestled at Evolution. I think she was in a tag match with her and Trish versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. I still want to see Lita versus Charlotte. I thought we were going to get that at last year's WrestleMania, but we didn't. So the rumor has it, at Chamber, we're doing a match with Becky Lynch, Lita, and a third partner, which I'm hearing rumors could be Trish, taking on Damage Control. I don't know, because first off, Becky winning here made it feel like they wrapped up the feud. Second off, though, as I keep saying, if Damage Control was booked better, booked more dominantly, I'd be a little more interested. But since Damage Control really, it's kind of like Judgment Day. Yes, of course, I mean, the biggest loss in this has been Bayley. Yeah, Bayley has, when she's had like the big, like the title matches, she hasn't capitalized. She should have been Raw Women's Champion. Bayley should have been, when they brought back Bayley and started this stable, I was like, get that belt on her. But they didn't. And honestly, at this point, even especially if they're going with Rhea versus Charlotte, they probably could have put the belt on Bayley. And, you know, no harm would have been done, in my opinion. I don't get why they didn't put the belt on Bayley. Yes, they put the tag titles on Dakota Kai and Io Sky, but they've lost a lot of singles matches. They randomly dropped the tag titles for like 6 days before Crown Jewel to Asuka and Alexa Bliss. I don't get why they did that too. And also, when was the last time they actually defended those tag titles? Because now I'm hearing rumors also that they're going to do Ronda and Shayna winning the tag titles at WrestleMania. Okay, but there's still no division. And again, Damage Control's been booked like crap. I'm sorry, they have not succeeded. They've tried doing some things to help them like retain some momentum, but you know, it's making them feel like, if I can grade them, they feel like a C- to me. Like they have like a little bit of juice there, but it's not enough juice for me to care enough. So, okay, as exciting as that sounds, a match with like Becky Lynch, Lita, and maybe Trish versus Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, it doesn't excite me as much as I feel it should. Even if this was set up for a singles match with Bayley and Lita, cool, but I don't have faith Bayley will win. So, although, yes, these matches that they set up on Chamber are cool, but some of them it's like, okay, Finn, Rhea, and Finn, Rhea versus Edge and Beth. First off, you're not going to have Beth Phoenix eat a pinfall victory. Second off, if Edge pins Finn, then what was the point of all this? Because I don't think they're going to have Rhea pin Beth. That'd be dumb for Beth not to get her revenge, but they probably get the revenge the best way of, like, you know, like maybe Beth, you know, taking out Rhea during the match and sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I'm almost done, Kingsley. But again, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for them to have them like win over Judgment Day just to do Finn and I don't know. I don't know because I think it'd be dumb for Beth to lose to Rhea because it's not needed. And then of course we're doing Brock and Bobby, which awesome. But why are we saving that to Mania? And then this 6-woman tag they're now rumoring for a Chamber. It would be fun if Damage Control was more of a threat. They've had like their like spurts where they're teasing them being a threat. I'm not feeling them being a threat though. So good stuff, like stuff that I think will be good, but it could have been better. Just my opinion. But that was Raw. I still gave the show a beat. I still think it was good, especially that segment with Heyman and Cody, like definitely raised from like solid to like good. But like, if they would fix those little tidbits, this would have been a great episode of Raw. But I gave this show a B, and that's gonna do it. So guys, that's my review of Raw. Again, the hype up, things coming up. Again, I'm going to try tonight to record like the little pieces I need for my new intro. And again, the plan still is for the new intro to be first revealed at my Elimination Chamber review. After Chamber, because hopefully by then more things will be settled at the house. Hopefully after Chamber, I'm not promising. I'm going to try, not promise, try to make my weekly wrestling reviews all live again. I will try, depending on how busy I am. And of course, just other things that come. I still want to get back to the Roller Coaster Tycoon Let's Play again. I did, the night I got back, which was almost a month ago, I can't believe. The night I got back from Vegas, I did record the first year of the next park I'm on. I haven't gone back since. I've been so busy with getting moved into the new house and whatnot. So hopefully, I can start getting some things rolling again in this channel after Chamber. But we shall see, guys. But again, I gave Raw a B. What are your thoughts on Raw from this coming week? I talked a lot in this episode. Dang. Make sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure as always to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93. Hopefully, again, I'll get the TikTok account active again. So be sure also to shout for me, person, and follow me on TikTok at the Club of the Man 1993. Until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Have a great rest of your night. And peace out, everybody.